Yeah, Rainmaker Undertow Spillway. I love this as a choice in game number one, just because this gives you a really good opportunity to feel out your opponent and start to set the tone early. You're going to see some good back and forth pushes, ideally, but you get it definitely is tough to knock out here. So if you can run away with it, by all means, but this tends to go, you know, the full 5 minutes more often than not. So that's why I think this really does work out as an ideal game number one for both teams, just to figure out exactly how this set is going to go as a whole.
Definitely, we see the double shot heavy edit comp going to be a little bit fast paced on both sides with that carbon and paintbrush from Turbo Torben.
Yeah, definitely some interesting comps here. I am pleased to see what Turbo Torben is bringing out as well, because that is a very unique composition. Nothing truly meta about this at all. As Polon is going to be able to find a nice pick there. Edit on edit action. They're definitely getting the upper hand early on as Turbo Torben with the numbers to work with, plus that cooler. They will find an opportunity here to pick up this Rainmaker, but just slowly approaching it as the bombs, trying to make this difficult on Turbo to make their first move of the game. And now these trip strikes is actually going to push them out of the way completely, opening up that right-hand side, but they're going to go ahead and opt to go left here. Possibly could have been an easy checkpoint, but nonetheless, they're going to take this slow and steady.
-2 has this Rainmaker trying to look to move forward, but does get the train with that paintbrush. It is only the splatter shot left up for Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nae Nae, as the cooler is out for grabbing this Rainmaker, going top mid and looking to try to find a pick as they move up. Zuka out, finds one. That left side only has one member up, and it looks to be that 52 gal trying to stall in the corner, and they go down. Moving in from mid is going to be the 10 attack, and there goes that left side, pretty much free the Zuka, almost finding the pick, but they go down anyway on the backside. Good cleanup by Turbo Torben as they still have advantage with the Rainmaker in hand, going through these greats, less than 50 points on the clock, and that is going to be a full wipeout, finally clearing as much as they can, get back into mid, and try to hold as much.
Yeah, a great defensive effort there by Watch Me Whip as they finally do get that wipeout, as you mentioned. Now trying to see if they can match that push, to at least clear the checkpoint. They do have the numbers to do so, but of course, right as I say that, they do go 2 down. They're going to just full send this, try to get the checkpoint with the limited numbers that they have, and that is going to be a delayed wipe. So they do get close to that checkpoint, but still not clearing it. So they do have a lot of time to work with still, as we are barely approaching the halfway mark of this game. So they're going to just have to build up some specials here and see if they can turn this one around. But Turbo Torben finding a beautiful double there, and this could be more points on the board if they play their cards right.
Rip Strike's not able to get to that Rainmaker, but they're going to want people in front. The paintbrush, Frill, holding this Rainmaker, trying to move up with their team. Heavy edit, all members of Turbo Torben are in front of this Rainmaker, trying to move up. But with 2 members going down, they're just going to rush for points as much as they can. 31 on the board. It's only this junior Silly Cat finding one, holding that corner as much as possible. Just sharking out, might be looking to steal this Rainmaker, but that whale is going to force them away.
Yeah, good use of the whales there, because you know for a fact that they were getting ready for the sneaky play. They knew they were there, but that just completely pushed them out, as we have a minute and a half to play in this game. Watch Me Whip trying to see if they can make a play happen here, as they have been on the back foot for a large chunk of this game. They're going to need to come up with a nice stop here, utilize some of these specials. And oh, what on earth happened there? 3 down on the side of Watch Me Whip, and now forced to retreat it back all the way to the pedestal. This should be more points on the board for Turbo, but no, they're not going to get there. They're actually going to get pushed out entirely. So what could have been even more points on the board is actually going to be Watch Me Whip finding an opportunity to turn some defense into offense.
looking for that turn, and as you said, moving up into mid, they need to get a lot of paint down and try to find these sharking weapons. Carbon swung right by, finding one, finally going down. There's two down. That's the paint down on the side of Turbo Torben, so they need to try to make a move and make a move quick. Get to that left side, as it's going to be one down. Frill taking another trade there. Carbon sneaking in with that pincer play, traded down, and it's only the shot last one up as Sox is looking to find the one with Isuka.
Yeah, and they're in a bit of a tricky position now as they lose two members and that Rainmaker just not in a good spot. It's going to be Turbo Torben that picks this one up, and I thought they were going to retreat with it, but they said, hey, we're going to take it right to you and keep fighting. So a bit risky there, but Turbo Torben does take a game number one.
Well, just a little bit risky there. Just a little bit. If they did end up dying with that Rainmaker there at the end, we would have gone into overtime, and the popping grab would have had to be for Watch Me Whip or Watch Me NAE NAE to have a chance to take the lead. But it was still very far away. So, but still not really too safe to grab there at the end.
They want to live life on the edge. That's really what that was about. And sometimes you got to create a little bit of extra fun. Been there, done that. That's for sure. So I don't fully blame them. But we will be getting geared up for game number 2, Splat Zones on Mahi Mahi Resort. So Vapor. I mean, we saw that, you know, a couple of pretty unique comps coming out there. I feel like when we have teams that do show up with these very non-meta comps, they tend to be more susceptible to making adjustments from game to game, regardless if they win or lose. As we've kind of saw in that previous set as well. So, you know, I think that kind of enters in a brief but interesting discussion of, you know, how those adjustments get made, especially with non-meta weapons.
Yeah, and especially if you do look at the comp for Turbo Torben in that past game, there are two weapons that don't really paint too well. So they were relying a lot on that junior player to supply all the paint. Where now we're in zones, so you almost need to have that burst paint energy to just get back to zone whenever you can. So let's see what adjustments that are made here, and we see a 10th umbrella roll right out. Carbon Paintbrush is sticking, but 10th umbrella from Watch Me Whip, Watch Me NAE NAE, that's going to try to open up mid a little bit, especially with this high water levels.
Yeah, the 10 was not what I expected at all, but I am excited to see how this goes. It's going to be the Carbon and the 10 clashing early on. They're going to trade each other out, but it's back and forth in this zone as Turbo Torben does get that first control, but ultimately will relinquish it to Watch Me Whip. Watch Me Whip now finding themselves in a great position here with the 2 down and the cooler on their side. They're going to get that Carbon who just threw themselves into mid there. And nonetheless, it is this heavy edit that is punishing folks left and right, doing a great job of keeping the right distance and dodging some of these specials, getting out of the way of that Zuka. They do jump out. I think they actually would have been fine just backing out, but they're going to do a quick jump out, jump back in. That's why I love cooler jumps.
And it allows you to do that very nicely as well. The Carbon did rush forward with that paintbrush, but with 3 members down, it's only that heavy edit to hold down that line, try to keep the zone neutral as long as possible. They do find one, but they go down anyway. Trip strikes out, trying to move into the zone is the Carbon. They go down. It is on that 10 attack though, trying to hold as much as they can, and they find one. That's going to be enough for them to hold on for that knockout.
That T-Tech just held the zone on their own for the last 15 ticks. And that bomb on the heavy edit came up massive for them as Watch Me Whip ties up this set in convincing fashion.
Yeah, that bomb was beautiful. If that bomb didn't land on the heavy edit or any one of the players that was there, it probably would have gone into neutral as much as possible. So we could have been in a little bit of a longer game, but once again, for the final time for today, meaningful final point.
Honestly, as commentators, this is everything we could have asked for. We wanted exciting sets, and we are getting, these 1-1 game threes every single time for the last 3 rounds. So I am excited that we are going to get to end this off on such an exhilarating note, and it's going to come down to Clam Blitz on Crab Leg Capital.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I don't really know how to talk about this now, because you want your line to play the grades and control the grades, because if you control the top mid, then you can basically control the entire map. However, you are very vulnerable there. I have from experience.
Yeah.
You're very vulnerable, so anything, a blaster, a slosher, anything with some sort of medium range can destroy you just top mid, and then you lose control of the entire map.
Well, I think the also interesting thing here is that chances are these teams are going to probably be sticking with these heavy edits based on those first 2 games, which definitely doesn't hold greats in as convincing of a way as you would, let's say, Pencil or E-Leader. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see if there are backline adjustments, because if you're going to see it, it's going to be here, just because heavy edit does do a good job still, but it's technically not the optimal choice given the layout of this map and what those key positions require.
Oh, definitely, and let's head into this one more time for the day. Heavy at each side, Custom Beamer back out, Tent Umbrella back out. Let's go right at it.
Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun here. These teams know what they want to play. They want to stick with what they've got. And this is going to mean that we're going to see a lot of different vulnerability points on both sides. So it's going to come down to who can make the right plays at the right time and just make the most of the other team's aggression. Like here, Sush able to pick off that Carbon. That's going to get things kicked off for them with a fantastic opening, but they will lose the tent as well. So early on, it's going to be a pretty stalemate game, but now we're seeing Turbo Torben be the first aggressors moving up as a team.
Mog right beneath these ledges, trying to move up and get as much control as they can, find those clams, but with the edit up top, they're trying to shut down that ramp as much as possible. Zuka from the far side looking for any sort of pick, but unable to get anyone. 10 drops, goes down to Frill on the paintbrush. Control still in favor of Turbo Torben until they go multiple down.
Yeah, neither team in scoring position quite yet. Turbo Torben was close there, but wasn't quite able to get onto plat. And now it's going to be Watch Me Whip trying to find a way back in the mid. They haven't really been successful there yet, as Pull-On once again able to utilize the greats to their advantage. I think that's the one great thing about actually having heavy edit here, is just that swift movement speed that you're going to be able to have while holding on to these key positions like the greats. But nonetheless, it's still just going to be a bunch of little fights happening in different sections of this map right now, and it is a bloodbath for these teams as we are back to a neutral game 2v2 between these two.
Sox finding the pick onto the Carbon roller, slow down the rush, and there goes the Junior, there goes all the paint for Turbo Torben. Sox trying to look on this far side as 2 of their members go down, -2 in the back, last one up to hold as much control as they can, the 10 missile as well, forcing them all the way back to their basket. There's enough claims for Turbo Torben to make this push, but they just can't build the power in time.
Oh, yeah, a bit of a missed opportunity here. They're going to have to use the Zuka now to try to get in. They need to be sending that Zuka right to the back of that basket, but not able to find any value there. It's going to be trading left and right once again. Finally, a power cram being made, but it's going to be Frill that misses the shot, but a jump is coming in, and it's another miss. The Carbon going to make a move and not able to get there in time. It's a wipeout, and it's going to be Watch Me Whip that actually gets the first score in the game. When they had their backs against the wall, they flipped it in a hurry.
And that's exactly what they needed to do. With the wipe out, though, it's going to be a little bit tougher to get right back in, but there's no clams on the field for Turbo Torben to get a quick score right away.
Oh, but one thing's for certain, though, this game has gotten a lot more volatile as any little movement between these two teams is being punished and being taken advantage of. And honestly, right now, yes, it seems like it's going to come down to where these clam spawns are at. We are actually going to see a 2 power clam score, making a 3 power clam score for Turbo Torben. A huge explosion of points. And now they're going to force Watch Me Whip to have to make a play, try to shut them out. This basket will close, so it does give Watch Me Whip an opportunity to breathe just a little bit, but they're now trying to pick up the pieces from what seemed to have been the clam economy working in their favor, preventing Turbo Torben from getting a score, to suddenly 3 power clams going in the basket.
I was going to say, it's going to be really tough to score for Turbo Torben because of that Tentebrella to shut down the ramp. But it's the edit, the heavy edit from the greats to score it in. Everyone turned their attention up top, including the 10, which allowed everyone else to move in through the front, get 2 more power clams in on the board, plus a lot more additional 37 remaining. However, it's time for Watch Me Whip, Watch Me NAE NAE to try to move up this ramp. Sharky is one, Swoosh is able to get that power clam in, but it's going to be the Carbon to meet more at the ramp to shut down any further points.
Yeah, and this grab of the pity clam just came in a little bit late, so now they're gonna have to get back to the drawing board because this pity clam is essential to Watch Me Whip's push in the closing seconds here. They will get overtime. It's gonna be 20 seconds to score. It's really gonna come down to this next team fight here as well, as the Carbon trying to make a move towards -2, not able to find it. The Cooler coming out, able to pick it up. A bit of a stagger now on the side of Turbo Torben, but no, 2 players move up and they both get punished. Swoosh trying to make a move for the basket, not able to do so. The 10th is going to go down as well, and that is game as Turbo Torben comes from behind in this one to take the set.
That's so unfortunate. If it was stalled a little bit more, we saw the shot go up, trying to take a fight with the shot that was sharking just off behind the wall, and the sharking shot just ignored the shot that was shooting at them and shot at the heavy edit, which had the power clam. If that was just a general 1v1, the power clam would have scored to extend the points a little bit more, but they went after the power clam to shut down any score as much as possible.
Oh man, what a game, what a set, what a day, Vapor. I mean, we got some fantastic sets on stream today, and I feel like that's all you can ask for.